Welcome to the Stop Down Photography Podcast, episode 100. I'm Scott Davenport. Today's topic is what Pink Floyd taught me about photography. Hi, welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm glad to be back with you for another chat about photography, this shared passion of ours. And in today's episode, let's take one more step on our never-ending journey of photography. This is episode 100, a milestone to be sure. And just like our photo journey, I got here one step at a time, one episode at a time. For those of you that have been with me since the launch of this podcast a little over 2 years ago, thank you for continuing on with me. And if you're a new listener, welcome. Thank you for downloading and listening to the podcast. I do hope you enjoy what you hear. Looking back at the past 2 years of the Stop Down Photography Podcast, some of the most popular episodes are the what, fill in the blank, taught me about photography. In the normal course of life, I connect many things back to photography. How the philosophy of one thing, photographic or otherwise, can apply to pursuing a visual art like photography. I've talked about the actions of people like George Harrison, Bruce Lee, even Marcus Aurelius, and how it applies to my photography, how their actions become lessons for me to take on my photo journey. And I thought for episode 100, another taught me episode would be fun. And it so happens I had another one of those little mini-epiphanies connecting music to my photography, more specifically, a lesson about motivation from the music of Pink Floyd. If you enjoyed the podcast, please hit the subscribe button, share it with a friend or two, and if you can, leave a rating and especially a review for the podcast in the Apple Podcasts app or wherever you get your podcasts. Let me begin with this. I'm not really a Pink Floyd fan. In general terms, my familiarity with the Pink Floyd catalog is sporadic, at best. I know a song here and a song there, and growing up in the 70s and 80s, I thought the band was kind of overrated. Though there is one album I do like, The Dark Side of the Moon. You almost certainly know it, or at least have had an encounter with it. You might like it, you might not, but either way, Dark Side is one of those tent poles in music history. If you're into music at all, it's inevitable you have an exposure to The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. It's one of the few records that when I listen to it, I want to listen from start to finish, like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. I don't want shuffle turned on or the individual songs to be mixed into a playlist. Dark Side has a flow to it, a sequence, and one that I really enjoy. Anyway, I was listening to this album on a long drive, and the tracks have a way of straddling ever so perfectly between background music and active listening. And it was during my more active listening moments when I picked up a lesson for my photography about motivation. Pause. Motivation? And Pink Floyd? That's an odd combination, really. Pink Floyd isn't the get up and go kind of music, right? It's experimental, psychedelic, relaxing, kind of trippy. You throw on the music, lean back, listen, and float away. And I think that's true for the melodies. Pink Floyd lyrics, however, the lyrics lean toward the philosophical, and that might be a reason I really like The Dark Side of the Moon. Time is a song on the first side of this album. It's about the passage of time, how we spend our time, how we waste time. We get older, we have missed opportunities, how time can slip away if we're not conscious about how we spend it. And there was one line in the second verse, quote, "No one told you when to run, you missed the starting gun." And that's the line that resonated with me. It crystallizes a sober truth about the journey of a visual artist. You are the beginning and the end of your photography. Nobody's going to tell you to get up and make art. There isn't a person that taps us on the shoulder and says, "Okay, get up, get on out there, time to make a photo." That's on you. That's on me. If you don't take action, You don't pick up the camera. Take the next photo. Before you know it, a year goes by, maybe 2, maybe 5, and you haven't kept pushing your photography forward. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. There is no starter that signals the beginning of the journey. There is no pistol that's fired to send you off running. You must be your own source of motivation, just like I have to be the own source of my motivation. No one else is going to do that for me, and Pink Floyd taught me that. Now, I hope I have motivated you with that little story and not discouraged you, because while I believe it's true, each of us must be our own source of motivation for our photography, it can be hard to start or push through a creative rut. And while we have to be self-motivating, we can definitely draw inspiration and energy from other photographers, from photographic activities to help us get motivated. So I have 3 suggestions to help you move your photography ahead. Number 1, right now, this week, carve out 1 hour to work with your camera, or 1 hour to process photos that have been sitting in your library. Do something that gets photography front and center for a period of time, 1 hour. At the end of that hour, take a moment and think about the part you enjoyed most, then make a plan to do more of that. Number 2, take on a personal photo project. And this does not have to be grandiose. It can be small. A simple theme you can do close to or maybe even in your home. An afternoon with the family, a day in the park, sunrise or sunset at a location, fill in the blank, pick your favorite spot. Aim to produce 6 images for this project. It'll help center your photography around a goal, and a small, attainable goal, not something that will take you months or years to build up a project. Something small. Start small and then build bigger. Number 3, sign up for a photo workshop within the next 12 months. Find a workshop for a place you've always wanted to photograph, or a place you want to return to, or a themed workshop like wildlife or black and white or astrophotography. Why? Because immersing yourself in photography with other photographers is motivating. Have a listen to episode 3 of this podcast. Yeah, one of the really first ones, episode 3. That one is all about why photo workshops are so invigorating for your photography. And I can attest to that. It's a great source of inspiration and motivation. Having recently returned from a workshop in Big Sur, I definitely left with a spring in my photographic step. Any or all of these things, carve out 1 hour to work on your photography this week. Take on a small personal photo project. Sign up for a workshop within the next 12 months. These will get your creative juices flowing, get you motivated about your photography. Now, this would normally be the part of a podcast where I would promote one of my upcoming workshops, but I don't have any upcoming for the rest of 2022. So this will be kind of like a partial promotion. I am planning workshops for 2023. Now, it's mid-June of 2022 as this episode is posting, and I'm guessing by the end of June, I will have the first set of 2023 workshops figured out. And if you'd like to hear about them before the general public is told, before I promote it to the world, get on my mailing list. Go to my photo website, scottdavenportphoto.com. At the bottom of every page, there's a button to subscribe to my mailing list. I tell subscribers about the workshops first before they're posted and promoted publicly. And if you're listening to this after the end of June 2022, just head straight to my workshops page. You'll see what I have in store for 2023. Links are in the show notes. Thanks as always to everyone that supports the show through shares, social media, comments, reviews, ratings. It is so much appreciated. I always love when I get a note from a listener that episode resonated with them, or sometimes it's just to exchange some photo knowledge, ask a question. All of those things are welcome. Never hesitate to reach out to me using the contact form on stopdownpodcast.com. And I hope I leave you at the end of episode 100 here, motivated to pick up your camera, to go do some photography. Make it part of your life. Keep that creativity going. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport. Have fun.